Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Inside Track Equibasis Weekly Handicapping Podcast. We give our analysis, picks, and wagers for a couple of the weekend's top races. I'm your host, Ben Kudla, and today we'll be recapping some of those stakes action on the road to the Kentucky Oaks and Kentucky Derby last week at Fairgrounds, as well as a deep dive into this fantastic $3 million Breeders' Cup winner in Grade 1 Pegasus World Cup Invitational on Saturday at Gulfstream. Just an incredible day of racing coming up on Pegasus World Cup Day on Saturday. We got 7 graded stakes on the card. Yes, 7. I mean, I'm beyond excited. But last week all eyes were on Fairgrounds with the Silverbulletday Stakes and the Grade 3 Lecomte Stakes, each worth a total of 42 points distributed to the top 5 finishers. Taken by the wind, she remained undefeated with a narrow victory in the Silverbulletday for trainer Kenny McPeak. She set a slow pace on the front end under Brian Hernandez Jr., dug in to hold off Love Your Neighbor. So Taken by the Wind did add 20 Oaks points to her resume, and she's actually now third on the Kentucky Oaks leaderboard with a total of 30 points. And a little later on in the card was the historic Lecomte Stakes at Fairgrounds, which I think ended up being one of the most impressive races of the weekend. Thank you so much for watching last week. For those of you who did, I'm pretty hyped. We were able to get Golden Tempo on that. 8-1 morning line. I try to give everybody a little bit of value, but he was bet down to the 5-2 favorite. But regardless, just a brilliant run by this curling colt. He was actually 10th at the third point of call, dead last. Rallied up the rail to win by 3/4 of a length under Jose Ortiz. And Cherie Devaux finished 1-2 in that Lecomte, with Mesquite running a game second as well. I do want to watch this replay just to see how far back this horse really came. And we do have some GPS stats I'll throw at you as well.
It's Crown the Buckeye being
but he's way back there, way back there.
Right
Number
there
5.
Carson Street, and these tri-leaders now on the edge of the quarter pole. Stop the car, Thunderbuck toward the inside. Quality Mischief.
So there he is right there. All right, Green Silks.
The final quarter of a mile, 3/4, 1 minute 11.8.
And now he starts going up the rail.
Street, sticking that neck out for this final furlong.
Kind of looks all right. He'll hang like a shirt, right? No, he just keeps on coming in that long Fairground stretch.
But well inside the final 16th, it is still Carson Street. Golden Tempo coming full on. Golden Tempo is a top-notch victory. Golden Tempo has rallied to...
You can bet your bottom dollar that I was screaming pretty loudly at the TV. But just really impressive. He actually lengthened his stride in the final half furlong to 23.92 feet. I mean, that's just really impressive for a 3-year-old. He ran the fastest final furlong of the field in 12.97 seconds. I think he did earn an 84 equibase speed figure. I didn't write that one down, but I believe that's it. So he's actually now second on the Kentucky Derby Trail with 20 points, remaining undefeated from 2 starts. Still a long way until this first Saturday in May. Actually, 100 days from tomorrow, which is Thursday the 22nd. So just about 100 days out from the 152nd running of the Kentucky Derby. So we still got plenty of Grade 1 100-point action to go, but definitely one to watch. So always love Fairgrounds. Still plenty of fantastic stakes action left throughout their meet. But this weekend is all about Gulfstream Park, Pegasus World Cup Day. 7 graded stakes races on the card, starting with that Grade 3 newly named Christophe Clement Stakes, the Grade 3 Fred W. Hooper Stakes, and the Grade 3 William L. McKnight Stakes in races 7, 8, 9. Then in race 10, we got the Grade 2 Pegasus World Cup Filly and Mare Turf. Race 11 is the Grade 2 Inside Information Stakes. Race 12 is the 1 million Grade 1 Pegasus World Cup Turf. And race 13 is your Breeders' Cup winning year in 3 million Grade 1 Pegasus World Cup. Lots of great races with some really fun handicapping to do. But today's show is all about the Pegasus World Cup. Really great race, I thought. Very, very difficult. I went back and forth on a number of horses. It was pretty hard to hone down on my top three, a nice mix of 4-year-olds, some older superstars, horses coming off injuries, multiple graded stakes winners, undefeated horses, pretty much everything in between. So it was a lot to digest, but really fun race. So a little bit of race history before we begin. Formerly known as the Don Handicap, the Pegasus World Cup had its inaugural running in 2017 with a dominant win by Irrigate to start that off. Since then, Gunrunner won in 2018, City of Light 2019, Mucho Gusto 2020, Knicks Go 2021, Life is Good 2022, Art Collector 2023, National Treasure 2024, and last year's winner was White Abario, who just romped by 6 1/4 lengths. So some pretty big names on that list. And this year is a Breeders' Cup win and you're in for the Classic to be held at Keeneland this year in my neck of the woods. Pretty stoked for that. But we do have a full field of 12 plus 2 also eligibles. 7 of these 12 entries are graded stakes winners, with all 12 totaling over 17.5 million in career earnings. So got some superstars in this mix, and honestly some promising up and comer. Even though they're 4-year-olds, I'm saying up and coming because they kind of are. But let's just go through this field from the rail out. We got number 1 Disco Time as your morning line 8-5 favorite. Very interesting. Pretty surprised at that. But anyway, he's undefeated from 5 career starts. Draw on the rail for Brad Cox. Gets a rider change to Flavian Pratt. Pretty interesting. Florent Giroux was aboard for all 5 career starts, but he's a 4-year-old, not this time colt. He's won his last 2 starts by a combined 15 1/4 lengths following a 9-month layoff after his win in the 2025 Grade 3 Lecomte Stakes. So next up, number 2, British Isles with the morning line of 20-1. Seeking his first win on the dirt. Narrowly defeated last time out to Nevada Beach in the Grade 3 Native Diver Stakes, going this 1.125 distance at Del Mar. That's actually his main track debut as well. So he's a 5-year-old. Justify Gelding. He's joining the David Fox barn for the first time, following a trainer switch from Richard Baltus. And we'll have regular rider Diego Herrera aboard, who is traveling from Santa Anita just for this race on Saturday at Gulfstream. Always a good sign and, something to take note of. 2024 Grade 1 Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile winner is number 3, Full Serrano, with a morning line of 12-1, making his first start outside of California for the first time since shipping to North America in August of 2024. Joel Rosario, who was aboard Full Serrano for both the 2024 and 2025 Breeders' Cup Mile, retains the mount. For trainer John Sadler, number 4 is Banishing, morning line of 20-1, stretching out from 6 furlongs for the first time since the 3rd place finish in that Grade 2 Lucas Classic Stakes at Churchill in September, going this same 9 furlong distance. Jose Ortiz will be reunited with the 6-year-old Go Sapper Gelding for the first time since June for trainer David Jacobson. Number 5, fan favorite Skippy Longstocking with a morning line of 15-1. Love that. Winner of over 3.7 million. Finished 3rd last year's Pegasus World Cup, and he's fresh off a narrow victory in the Grade 3 Harlan's Holiday Stakes last time out at Gulfstream Park for trainer Safi Joseph Jr. Tyler Gaffleone, who has 4 wins aboard now. The 7-year-old son of Exaggerator retains the mount following their win last time out. Number 6 is Madaket Road, the morning line of 10-1, shipping in from Santa Anita for trainer Bob Baffert, who has 3 Pegasus World Cup wins. And this is only the 10th running since he was renamed from the Don. But anyway, he's got Irrigate, Mucho Gusto, and National Treasure on his resume. But Madaket Road making his 8th consecutive Graded Stakes appearance and will be reunited with Mike Smith for the first time since last year's Grade 1 Florida Derby. Number 7, Tapan Street, morning line of 6-1. This is my pick. 4-year-old Into Mischief colt and Brad Cox's second entrant. He's made all 4 career starts down there at Gulfstream. And following his win in last year's Florida Derby, Tapan Street took a nearly 9-month layoff. Returned in December to an allowance optional claimer, earning a career best. 104. Echo Base Speed Figure. 2024 Grade 2 Remsen winners, number 8 Poster, with a morning line of 20-1, fresh off a narrow defeat to Skippy Longstocking last time out in that Heartlands Holiday at Gulfstream. Trainer Owen Hardy will add blinkers for the first time. Kind of interesting. Junior Alvarado will be aboard for the first time as well. So some changes there for Poster. Number 9, Captain Cook, morning line of 15-1. Returns to this 9 furlong distance after 3 consecutive starts, going 7 furlongs on the dirt. Since joining the Todd Pletcher barn in August, Captain Cook has run second in both the Grade 1 H. Allen Jerkins and the Grade 3 Perryville down there, my neck of the woods at Keeneland. John Velasquez will be a first-time riding this Practical Joke colt. Interesting horse here, this number 10, Mika, with a morning line of 10-1, returns for the first time since finishing runner-up by just a neck in that Grade 2 Cigar Mile handicap at Aqueduct, where he earned a career best and highest last out Echo Base Speed Figure in this field of a 114. The 4-year-old Catholic boy colt making his second start for trainer Mike Maker since the trainer switch, and retains Manny Franco in the irons, who was traveling from Aqueduct for 8 mounts on Saturday at Gulfstream. And 2024 Pegasus World Cup winner and Safi Joseph Jr. second entry, number 11, White Abario, morning line of 4-1. He's now a 7-year-old son of race day. He has 8 wins from 10 career starts at Gulfstream and lifetime earnings of over $7 million. Pretty crazy. And then barring no scratches, brother Kenny rounds out the field in post number 12 with a 30-1 morning line for trainer Jose Francisco D'Angelo. He's fresh off a half-length win in the Zia Park Derby last time out at the end of November. Javier Castellano will be aboard brother Kenny for his Gulfstream Park debut. So there is your field for the 2026 Grade 1 Pegasus World Cup. I was honestly very surprised at an 8-5 morning line for disco time. Just not a whole lot of value there. Going against older horses for the first time, but I do think he is a major contender. I thought long and hard about this race, and I did land on Pan Street. So let me put up my picks for everybody. Going 7-5-1. A little bit of value. You got a 6-1, 15-1, and then an 8-5. But let me tell you why. So let me get into Pan Street here. No stranger to Gulfstream Park, this horse is. He's been training really well at Payson Park, also with a 5 furlong bullet in his most recent work all winter, but he has never made a start outside of Gulfstream Park with a career record of 3 wins and a second from 4 starts. Just before turning 3, he debuted in a 7 furlong maiden special weight, won by 1 3/4 lengths. And a couple months later in February, he stretched out to 2 turns for the first time in the Grade 3 Holy Bowl Stakes. Despite going off as the heavy favorite, he did finish second to Burnham Square by 1 3/4 lengths, but he finished 9 1/4 lengths clear of third place finisher Burning Glory. Following that, Brad Cox, he decided to bypass the Grade 2 Fountain of Youth, which Sovereignty won to train up to the Grade 1 Florida Derby. Really turned out to be in their favor. So Pan Street went off at 2.4-1 in that Florida Derby. He settled mid-pack before pouncing at the top of the stretch and drew clear to win by 1 1/4 lengths over eventual Kentucky Derby and Belmont Stakes winner Sovereignty. In his final workout a week before the Kentucky Derby, this is brutal. Pan Street just suffered a condylar fracture to his right front, so he was taken off the Derby trail out of Triple Crown contention as well. But even so, he remains the only horse to have defeated Sovereignty during that 3-year-old campaign. So I just think that elevates the significance of that Florida Derby victory by quite a bit. So he takes 9 months off out on the sidelines there. He returned on December 19th against Allowance Optional Claiming Company, going a 1-turn mile there at Gulfstream. Won by a length and actually improved to a 104 Echo Base Speed Figure. So to me, that get back race, if you want to call it that, indicated he did return in winning form. I do believe he does remain a grade 1 caliber contender as well. And Brad Cox, he's excelled with runners making their second start of a 180-day or more layoff, winning at 26% over the last 5 years with that move. Another positive is the return of Luis Saez, who was aboard Tappan Street in his first 3 starts, including that win in the Florida Derby. And over the past year, Saez has won at a 26% clip from 57 mounts with a positive 30% return on investment when reunited with a horse he previously won on aboard, but was not aboard last time out. So he was not aboard for that optional claiming race last time out. I believe that was Irad Ortiz Jr. So, a lot of questions remain about Tappan Street, particularly facing older stakes company. But the fact he beat Sovereignty, came back in winning form off the long layoff, well trending upward in speed figures, plus Luis Saez back in the irons, 6-1 morning line. I'm all about it. I really doubt we'll get that just from the buzz this horse has received recently, but you never know. I mean, people could just be really, really heavy on Disco Time. And White Barrio, he's got a 4-1 morning line as well. So there you go. I'm going for Tappan Street to win the 2026 Pegasus World Cup. In second, got some value. Skippy Longstocking, 15-1. Love that. But just what an incredibly impressive career that this horse has had, consistently facing the best horses in the country for years and years. He's 7 years old, son of Exaggerator. He's made 27 graded stakes starts, winning 10 of those and finishing in the money 19 times. I mean, just wow. I just think his durability, longevity, whatever you want to call it, and class. He's a threat. He's a contender in any grade 1 race, especially at his home track at Gulfstream Park, where he's got 4 wins, a second, and 2/3 from 12 starts. He did break his maiden here at Gulfstream in September of 2021 by 10.5 lengths. And fittingly, he did close out his 6-year-old campaign with another Gulfstream Park victory in that Grade 3 Harlan's Holiday Stakes on December 20th. And, that performance last time, it was just particularly noteworthy to me, given his prior 2 starts. You'll see in his running lines, he ran 7th by 12 3/4 lengths in that Grade 1 Whitney. Then a last place finish by nearly 40 lengths, basically pulled up in that Grade 2 Charlestown Classic, which he did win 2 times before. But after the Charlestown Classic, Safi did say he got a case of the thumps. So, never good, but it's nothing that he hasn't come back from before. He rebounded from off-form efforts from the thumps before. So he was pulled up the 2024 Pegasus World Cup, I believe, with the thumps as well. And right after that, he returned to win the Grade 3 Challenger and Grade 2 Oaklawn Handicap in his next 2 starts. So this is a determined horse, tough horse. He's got 4 graded stakes wins at this 9 furlong distance. I love that Tyler Gaffalione will be back aboard. Skippy and Gaffalione have 4 graded stakes wins together, multiple Grade 1 in the money finishes as well, including that 3rd place finish in last year's Pegasus World Cup, just a neck behind Locked in second. I think this horse just brings tremendous value at 15-1. I think you're going to get it too, with the betting public kind of seeing those 2 running lines prior to the Harlan's Holiday, and then they're going to see 2 Safi horses and logically side with White Barrio. White Barrio has beat Skippy many times. But Skippy's just a veteran who can rebound. He's repeatedly shown he can be competitive at the highest level. So let's go Skippy Longstocking, 15-1. And my 3rd pick is number 1, Disco Time, with the disappointing 8-5 morning line. But he has been perfect throughout his career, posting 5 wins from 5 career starts, despite a nearly 9-month layoff in between. But he did start his career at Churchill in November of 2024, winning a maiden special weight and allowance optional claimer by a combined winning margin of 7 1/4 lengths. He jumped up to Graded Stakes Company's 3-year-old debut last January, going 2 turns for the first time on a sloppy very sloppy. Fairgrounds track in the Grade 3 Lecomte. He went way outside, like the extreme outside. And he got up just in time to win by a neck. It was an incredibly impressive win. But after the Lecomte, Disco Time was sidelined for 9 months. He resurfaced in September, this past September, with a dominating 5.5 length win in the St. Louis Derby at Fairmount Park, going to mile 16th, and improved to a 94 Equibase speed figure off the layoff. Always a good sign. And last time out, he again improved that speed figure to a 112 Equibase speed figure for that 9 3/4 length victory in the Dwyer Stakes at Aqueduct, going just a 1 mile. So he does have yet to run a 9 furlongs, but his pedigree, not this time, and past performances just, I just don't think he's going to have any problem stretching out another half furlong past that mile, the 16th Lecomte in St. Louis Derby. So we'll get into some nitty-gritty stats. Flavien Prat, named to ride for the first time, I think can be seen as a notable positive. No knocks on Florent Geroux. I think he's a good rider, but Prat's winning at 34% so far in 2026 from 59 mounts. And Brad Cox, Flavien Prat, just very successful together over the last 3 years, winning at a 33% clip from 291 starts in all races at all tracks together. In that same time frame of 3 years, they're winning at 27% from 98 graded stakes starts together and 55% in the money. That's nuts for graded stakes. Another interesting angle, Brad Cox, he's also had a lot of success with horses owned by Juddmonte. Over the last 5 years, he wins at 32% in graded stakes races with horses owned by Juddmonte, and that's from 85 starts as well. So overall, I think, a really nice horse. He's got a keen ability to find the winner's circle. No problems, I think, stretching out to a mile and 1/8. But, he's going against older horses in his first ever Grade 1. It's a very tall test for this colt, but I do think he's going to run well, most likely hit the board. So I do have him in third. Yeah, Disco Time in third. We'll go back to the entries graphic to talk about a little more. Who I was kind of deciding with for Disco Time to not put him in third was Mika, however you want to say. I mean, he just really showed up in that Grade 2 Cigar Mile handicap. I mean, he narrowly lost to Bishop's Bay. Really impressive. A 114 Equibase speed figure last time out. I think horses in dirt route graded stakes races with the highest last out Equibase speed figure are winning at 32% over the last year as well. So, this horse, he was a freak at Delaware and Laurel. Returned back to Mike Maker and just really showed up again. I just don't think he's going to get that same lead as he did in that Cigar Mile handicap. But at 10-1 morning line, he's just a lot better value, if you're going for younger speed. Another horse, I kind of felt bad leaving out, Full Serrano. I mean, just his class alone, running big numbers. But, he's just been regressing ever since that Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile win in 2024. He earned a 117 Equibase speed figure for that. He did win almost 11 months later in allowance optional claimer at Del Mar by 7 1/4 lengths, but regressed to a 115. Then he lost to Goodwood, Grade 1 Goodwood, 2 to Nevada Beach, down to a 106. And then he did run in the 2025 Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, ran 5th by 12 1/4 lengths, regressing all the way down to a 93. He's taken his first leap outside of California since shipping to North America from Argentina. Good value. I don't know. I just didn't see it. And then another one, White Abarrio. I just didn't know. We obviously all saw what happened prior to the Breeders' Cup. I'm sure everybody's got opinions on that. He's training decent. I don't know. He loves Gulfstream for sure. And I definitely was wrong about White Abarrio last year in the Pegasus. I think there's just something about Skippy Longstock and that he's gonna get the edge on him. So, but anyway, I do like Tapan Street to win. That's my number one winner over Skippy Longstock and with some value in second and Disco Time in third. So going to be wonderful Pegasus World Cup. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it and the time you took with me today. So again, thank you. I really do appreciate it. Good luck in all your wagers this weekend, and we'll see you next week.